So hello, good evening everyone. So today I'll be starting with the geography general studies. Firstly, I need to make you understand what is geography. So before entering into the syllabus, now firstly you need to know what kind of questions will be asked in the examination. What questions will come in the examination and what you should study. What to study. So what kind of news you should pick up from the newspaper. So what kind of news or articles you should study. Now you guys tell me from where you'll get to know. So what kind of questions are going to come in the examination, what I have to study. So when you start studying the newspapers, it is very chaotic. You will be confused. Kya padhna hai? What to study, what not to study. In fact, 80% of the things you're not supposed to touch. Then what kind of things you should be focusing on? Okay, very good. The PYQs will be laying a good foundation. PYQs will be laying a good foundation. So they will tell you what you have to study, what kind of news articles you have to pick up from the newspapers. But now, what to write in the answers? How will you get to know? What to write? क्या लिखना है एग्जाम में? Because geography as a discipline you are studying as general studies. You can write anything general. Now, how will you get to know what to write? See, my classes will be interactive in nature. You please interact. And nothing what you say in the class is wrong. Everything is right. Everyone has their own perspective in the class. And don't hesitate. See, why I am telling you to speak in the class? Because if you are taking UPSC Prelims, in prelims, how many options will be right out of 4? Only one. 1 out of 4 is right and 3 are wrong options. So when you reply to me in the class, I will tell you what is wrong. So the person who is framing the question in the UPSC, in the prelims, so from where do you think they will get these 3 wrong options? I say, when they interact with the students, the students will be having a lot of misconceptions, and those misconceptions will be framed as 3 wrong options. So that's why, what illusions you have in your mind regarding exam, you express it. I will tell you whether it is right or wrong. So 3 wrong options. So don't hesitate to interact. This is the first point which I am telling you. And next, if you want to know what to write in the examination, first you should know for this what is the subject is all about. It is also called as what is the locus and focus of the subject. And this locus and focus of the subject will be changing over a period of time, right? Now in the present times, what is the locus and focus of the syllabus? That means nowadays in geography, what kind of research is taking place? What kind of research? Or what is the concern of this subject? What is the concern? Means if you are having this subject in any university, what it is dealing with, or what kind of problems it is solving. Because any discipline, be it in any university, it will solve a certain kind of a problem. Now what kind of problems it will be solving? So this is called as the locus and focus of the subject. Again, how you will get to know what is going on present? And for this, again PYQ analysis. So okay, whatever I am saying, okay, please note down in your notes, because these kind of things will be very helpful to you. And in the first page of your notes itself, I'll be making you write certain things. And second most important things, since I am laying a foundation for your foundation course, I have been chosen first. So that's why it's my responsibility to tell you how to write the notes. And first, writing notes, how to write your notes. See, while writing the notes, firstly choose A4 sheet, plain A4 sheet. Okay, don't write in ruled copies. Ruled you don't write. Why? Because in the real UPSC exam also, you will be getting plain A4 sheets. So if you are writing in ruled copy here in the class, you might be writing straight. But when you will be getting the plain sheet in the examination, then okay, you'll start writing like that. So with experience I am telling you. So that's why choose plain A4 sheets. So whatever you do from day one, it should be according to the rules set by the UPSC. So your first class itself should be the preparation for your examination. So आप लोग सोचेंगे, you think that okay, right now I'll be studying everything, later on I'll practice the answers. No. From the day one, okay, we will do everything simultaneously. The second rule is, whenever you are choosing an A4 sheet, then leave at least 40% of the space. 40% छोड़ना है. Why? First reason is, UPSC answer sheet is like this. The UPSC answer sheet is in this direction. That's why you'll get used to. And secondly, in the future, for example, you're writing a paragraph here. So if you want to summarize it, you can make a summary of this. Summary. And secondly, you can also write the keywords over here, because it is humanly impossible to revise each and every word before you go into the examination hall. So that's why write the keywords in the margins. And thirdly, if any current affairs you come across, for example, you are studying about a volcano here, then say in the newspaper you come across any volcano, say Dubai volcano had resulted into explosion along the Great African Rifting. So you can update the current affairs also. So ideally you should be leaving 30%, but I would say leave 40% of the page in the margins. So this shows how in future, this shows your hunger to work in the future. So future mein you have to do all these works. So that's why leave 40% of the page. And the third rule over here is, now you tell me, you are taking single A4 sheet, around 30 to 40% of the space is left, you are left. Then how many writes you should be writing on the one side of the paper? How many words you should write? All these things I am telling out of my experiences. I have written a couple of mains, I have attempted interviews. Very good. Okay, Manu, okay, you're saying 75 words. Okay, so 80 to 100 words you write. 80 to 100. At any cost, you should not write more than 100 words at any cost. Why I am telling this? Because for a 10 marker, you will be given two sides. Means you will be given one paper. And here UPSC is expecting you to write 200 words. 200 words. So 200 words for 10 marks. Alright? That means for 250 marks, how many words you should be writing? Right? So UPSC is expecting you to write 4,000 to 5,000 words. And it is humanly impossible to write so many words. Now if you have to write so many words, okay, you can test it yourself. Within 10 minutes, okay, within 7 minutes, you should write 150 words. It is humanly impossible. That's why qualitatively you write 80 words on each side of the paper. 80 plus 80, 160 qualitative words for a 10 marker is sufficient enough. So that's why from now onwards you should be practicing this. So 80 to 100 words on one side. Actually if I had been present in the offline class, so आपके पीछे पढ़ के डंडा मार के मैं कैसे भी करवा लेता है. But you guys are lucky you're in online class. I won't be able to see. And I'll be asking you to show on the camera. I will ask you to show your notes which you are writing. So ये वाला एक चीज सुधर गया ना, future में you will not have any problems. Why I'm telling you this? Because see, now to you will write the notes the way you want. So finally when you will be qualifying the prelims and when you will be going for the mains, after you go for the mains, when you will be writing the test series, so you will write around 10 to 12 tests. So in the first 4 tests, so we have to tell you, see, formatting sahi karo. Don't write more than 80 words. Means the focus of the examiner, the focus of the person who is correcting the paper does not go on the content which you are writing. So they'll be checking the formatting, capital letters, spelling mistake, these many words. So unnecessarily the things for which you have to be evaluated, you will not be evaluated. That's why from day one do these things. I am telling you, nobody will be telling you all these things. No one will tell you. So these are some of the rules. And next, I'll show you on video also later on, how to write the answers. You should be writing in that format only. And as far as geography is concerned, geography. So geography is spatial science. Spatial science means you have to draw space. Without drawing space, you cannot explain. For example, how many people are from botany, zoology background here? Anyone? Botany, zoology. Jaldi reply karo. No one? See, in botany, zoology, when you are writing answers, if you are explaining any phenomena, you are supposed to draw diagram there, right? Since geography is about space, you have to draw a diagram. So, in the given space, say some question is given, we are giving a heading, and this is the subheading, and here you are writing some content. Again you are writing a heading, again content, and the diagram wherever possible you should be drawing the diagram here. Here the diagram should come. So this should be the space for the diagram. Your answer sheet should look in this format. So later on I'll show you how the answer sheet will look like. I'll also send you the answer copy of 2025 which has been written by me only, own handwritten. And I'm betting you, I'm telling you, nowhere you'll find such kind of answer sheet. Nobody must have written. If you see the solutions of 2025, the people might have given some points here and there, but how to present the answer in 150 words, 200 words or 250 words? So nobody has demonstrated that. I have done it. There is one video which is available on the YouTube. You can check that. If you want, I can send you the answer sheet as well. So since it is a spatial science, you have to draw. And as a part of this, etiquette of the subject, now, there are two things. You can show something, you can say something. right? If you want to convey, so when you want to communicate, you can do both, show and say. Now what would you prefer? For example, I am giving you a book to read, and based on the book I am showing you a movie. So from which you will understand better, movie or a book? Now here some people will be bookworms, they'll be saying that no sir, I prefer books only over a movie, right? So most of them prefer movie because our brain is not meant for writing, reading. Our brain better understand pictorial. That's why if you look at the Stone Age civilizations, the people used to draw the cave paintings and all. There used to be a lot of drawings. So show. So you should always prefer showing. That's why draw. For example, I'll tell you one example for this. Now if you have been asked about the resources, oil resources of the world, one type of presentation is, you can list out, oil is present in Persian Gulf, 50% of the oil. So oil is present in the Arctic region, oil is present in North Sea, Venezuela, Maracaibo, Gulf of Mexico, Hudson Bay. You can list out. What if you draw a world diagram and then show it? It will be more effective. I'll tell you the advantages of drawing. See, all these are the rules of the subject. I bet no one on the internet, no geography teacher even knows. They won't be saying. So जितने भी ये famous लोग हैं ना, पता नहीं क्या पढ़ाते हैं. Now I will tell you the advantages here. Draw करने का advantage है. Firstly, it is the rule of the subject. Means it's the minimum etiquette. It is very intrinsic to geography. Means a geographer will feel happy when you show something, when you draw a diagram. Now, what all you can draw here? You can draw a map. It can be a flow chart. It can be a schematic, etc. It can be anything. So these are very intrinsic to geography. That is the first rule. And secondly, it will become very easy for the examiner. To understand or comprehend. Because when you see the oil resources of the world, once you see, you'll take just 1 or 2 seconds. But the same thing, if you have to read, it will take more time. So while evaluating, it will become very easy for the examiner. See, for them also, ultimately at the end of the day, it's a job. So it's a job for them to come and correct your papers. So why the hell they will take so much of effort in reading? So make their job easy. So make job easy. This is the second one. And thirdly, why drawing? Because when you draw, you will be showcasing more skills, and also you can put more information. More info. That means in less words or in less space, you can express more. I told you UPSC is expecting around 5,000 words from you in 3 hours. That is humanly impossible. Now, what is a better way of expressing more things? It is by drawing. So these are the various advantages of presenting in this way. So this is how you should be presenting. And next one, let's understand the subject. See, from the first day itself, I'm laying foundation, as in how to write the answers, how to start your notes, and also what all things should be included in your answers, and what things you should be focusing in the newspaper. Now, geography, geo plus graphy. Now let's see the origin of this. Origin of geography. So earlier in the days, there was a librarian. Okay, the librarian wanted to arrange the books in the library. Now they wanted to arrange books. So while arranging the books, he found there are certain books which are pure sciences, such as mathematics, physics, chemistry, botany, okay, geology, etc. Pure sciences. So these are 1 plus 2 is equal to 3. Means there is pure objectivity. Objectivity means for everyone the solution is same, okay, the answer is same. When you are solving a problem in a math, right, okay, so everyone has to follow the similar type of steps and the answer will be also same. Now if I am asking you to solve a problem of urban flooding, I am getting hundreds of experts and each and every one of the expert will be having a different solution. But if you are giving a math problem to mathematicians, do you think it will be different? Same solution. So that is where objectivity and subjectivity will come. Subjectivity. So these are all pure sciences. There are certain subjects where subjectivity is involved. So in these subjects where subjectivity is there, you have certain subjects such as philosophy. Different people will be having different philosophy towards life, right? Like sociology. In fact, society itself, okay, has different benchmarks, different morals, different values. They function in a different way. In fact, each and every individual or human is different. Human mentality is different, or human agent is different. So these are completely subjective in nature. In fact, for that matter, history also is subjective. Now if you are studying the same history from perspective of a nationalist, our history has been written by the nationalist. आप देखोगे, okay, like you see the farmers uprising, you see the tribal uprising, you see the Rajao uprising against the British. So everyone is fighting for the independence of India, where the idea of India did not exist. So they write from a certain nationalistic perspective. But if you see objectively, okay, from the lens of various sociologists, anthropologists, so why the tribals have revolted against the British? Did they know that idea of India existed? No. It is because when the Britishers have come into India, they knew the law and order, so they have declared the forests as a property of a queen or king. Therefore, they have to be driven out. So when they were driven out, they did not have home. They have been staying there for thousands of years, and somebody one day comes and tell you, this is not your home, get out. Obviously, they will revolt, right? Now, why various Indian industrialists, why they have supported or funded Congress? Because Congress has come up with Swadeshi. Use the goods produced by our own industrialists. So they had their own interests. So why the Raja Maharaja princely states, they were fighting? For them, idea of India did not exist. In fact, many were not willing to join Indian Union. Mr. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, okay, he had to go and okay, Sam, Dan, Dand, Bhed, sab kuch use kiya to get all this 500 plus odd princely states into the Indian Union. So this is again subjectivity. Now Immanuel Kant found there are two subjects which are unique. one subject which is dealing with time, and then there is other subject which is dealing with space. So the subject which is dealing with the space, he called as chorology, and the subject which is dealing with time is called as chronology, and eventually this has become history, and this has become geography. So geography is the study of space. Study of space. Now what all things you will study in space? Next question is, now what to study in space? You can study anything in space. You can study the history of a place. You can study the economics of a place. You can study the biology of a place. You can study the trees, animals, humans, the urban areas, the water, their problems, the climate. So you can study everything in a space. So basically the term geo plus graphy means it is the study of earth. But which aspects of earth you will be studying? Which aspects? Now why I am telling you all these things, because some people might think that ये सब चीज़ें क्यों ज़रूरत है, why don't we सीधा go for the PYQs and solve PYQs and PYQs का solution देख लेंगे, वही exam में आ जाएगा, I'll pass the examination. Nowadays the people have such kind of mentality, so that's why they won't be able to solve many questions which are coming in the examinations. So if the PYQs come in the examination, they'll be able to solve, because generation by generation the thinking is changing. The study pattern is also changing. Your attention span has reduced a lot. You might be thinking why the teacher is saying all these things, right? So Divyanshu Singh is asking, is it English batch? So I have been told that it should be in English only, because ultimately in the examination you should be writing the answers in English. So what do you want? Do you want Hindi as well, Divyanshu? So Kant observation is, Kant found that there are certain books in the library which are studying time. Studying time मतलब राजा आया, ये किया, वो किया, चला गया, मर गया. उसका बेटा आया, ये किया, वो किया, मर गया, चला गया. उसके बाद कोई भी राजा नहीं था, बहुत सारे छोटे छोटे राजा थे, आपस में लड़ रहे थे. इसको एडवांटेज लेके बाहर का कोई आया, आक्रमण किया, उसने पूरा कब्जा कर लिया. Understood? Chronology, history. And there is one subject which was studying space. But what all things it will be studying in the space? Now, this question has been with geographers for a very long time. Now, why I am teaching you all these things? There is a philosophical part. Why I am teaching you all these things? Because you should know what to write in the answers and what to read. What to read. I will show this to you through certain questions. For example, there is a question they have asked. They have asked the geophysical features of circum-Pacific belt. A question पूछा है. और in a simple language, Pacific region का geological features, physical features, explain. This question has come. But when this question has been asked, will you just explain the mountains of that region? Will you just explain the volcanoes of that region? No, right? So you should explain what is the relationship between them. Means, I'll come to there. First, let me explain this. Now, geography is a study of Earth. Now, which aspect of the Earth it should be studying? So it will be studying all the aspects, which is related to man, environment, relationship, anything, okay, which affects the relationship between these two shall be studied by geographers. And this is the locus and focus of geographers. Locus and focus of the geographers. अच्छा, better in English, we are from north, so our mother tongue is Hindi. Okay, fine. लेकिन okay भाई याद रखना, okay, एग्जामिनेशन में आपको okay इंग्लिश में ही लिखना है, हाँ. Now write down few sentences here. I'll dictate you. You keep taking the running notes as well as you write. So give a heading, study of geography. Study of geography. So geography is a scientific study of Earth. Keep writing. Geography is scientific study of Earth as a home to humans. This is very important. As a home to humans. It examines the spatial distribution of physical features human activities and the interactions between them, underline interactions. And earlier I forgot to tell you, while making the notes, please underline the keywords. In the examination also you have to do that. See, I could have given you, okay, the PDF or something for this. But again, okay, in between the class, okay, if you are writing the notes, when you write the notes, you will get some pause. You think over it and you internalize the things. So I have taught batches where, I have, only given running notes. Means I have been teaching students, I have been taking running notes. So while you take the running notes, what happens is that, okay, not everyone will be able to absorb everything. Now, kuch log, again, if I am switching between two the languages, na, flow gadbad ho jata hai. So when you are taking the running notes, not everyone will be able to. किसी को पता नहीं है कि क्या subject के लिए important है, क्या important नहीं है. Okay, that's why whatever is important for the examination, whatever has to be presented, that I'll be dictating, so that you'll have a uniformity in writing the notes. So exam के लिए काम है. See, finally आप कितने भी क्लास में बैठो, सुनते रहो क्लासेस, जब तक क्लास में बैठे रहोगे, सुनते रहोगे, मज़ा आता रहेगा. अरे वाह, क्या चल रहा है लेक्चर. लेकिन फाइनली जब एग्जाम में लिखने की बारी आती है ना, आपके पास कुछ लिखा हुआ नहीं है, देन पूरा गड़बड़ हो जाएगा. एंड आई एम टेलिंग यू, वॉट एवर यू राइट नाउ, वॉट एवर फाउंडेशन आई एम लेइंग टू यू, दैट विल रिमेन फॉर एवर. So these concepts which I am teaching you, that will remain forever. And if this is strong, whatever building you are building over that will remain forever. Okay, so make a very good notes, and this should be your master copy. And whatever you are updating, you should be updating here only in these notes. Okay, so the word interactions is very important. Okay, it is both a natural science. It is both a natural science as well as social science. Natural science as well as social science. Now see here, so from where I have derived this, see, there are some pure sciences, okay, there are some subjectivity. So objectivity, subjectivity. No, the things, okay, which are associated with objectivity, they are there in geography, such as you study geomorphology, complete objectivity, pure science, climatology, oceanography, soils, biogeography, means plants, animals, उसमें botany है, zoology है, soils पढ़ रहे हो, okay, pedology, right? So you have all these things which are associated with your pure sciences, and also you have subjective things. You study economics here, you study society here, you study settlements, that is urban areas and problems, okay, you study the agricultural systems. So all these are associated with your subjectivity. So these two subjects are somewhere in between. So what is the locus study of the geography? It studies both, okay, I'll tell you next, okay. So making it a bridge discipline, right? Making it a bridge discipline. Change the para. And whenever you are changing the para, again mark this, if you are writing in the paragraph form, see, I'll tell you dhire dhire, okay, how to write the answers also. I know I'm not giving everything now itself, but whenever you are writing, when you are changing the paragraph, do it this way. When you start the paragraph, start somewhere in between like this. It looks nice. Presentation is very important. And when you are changing the paragraph, leave one line gap and then you start like this. And deliberately end it here. So everything should come in this line. Some people must be thinking that बच्चों के जैसे सब कुछ बता रहे हैं. See, honestly, trust me, these kind of things now, this presentation is 50% of your preparation. And I have seen many candidates, the people who have good presentation skills, the people who have good structure in the answers, they qualify. Okay, I have seen many people, okay, उनके पास बहुत सारी knowledge है, लेकिन उनको कैसे present करना पता नहीं है, मार खा गए, एग्जाम में qualify नहीं हो पाए. So that's why, like a kid, I'm telling you all these things. So we'll start, everything from the basics, like, even if I'm explaining you something, I will explain it to you like I'm explaining it to 4th class, 5th class. And आपको interview में भी जब आपको जवाब देना पड़ता है ना, okay, you have to explain it to the interviewer as if you're explaining to a 5th class kid. And in fact, I also believe that आपको कोई concept आती है ना, अगर आपके घर में कोई बच्चा है, okay, 10 साल का या 12 साल का, अगर उसको explain कर पाते हो, then आपको वो चीज़ ढंग से समझ में आ गई. Okay, understood? May I see how you are writing? Are you ready? Manu, can you show me your notebook once? Okay, good, nice. ऐसे ही बनाना सब लोग. Sumit, Bose, Nanda, be attentive in the class. Change the parent, right? Geo means earth. अच्छा, आप सुमित, आप good, nice. And I'm telling you, कोई भी online class में ना, okay, ऐसे सारी चीज़ें नहीं बताते हैं, because in the class thousands of people will be there. They will come here, teach and go. They won't even care the questions you are asking. एक भी question भी पूछने का मौका नहीं देते. You will get to know in 1 or 2 classes. So geo means earth. Graphos means description. Graphos means description. So geography literally means the description of the earth. Description of the earth. Change the para. So geography is human environment relationship. human, environment, relationship. Now let's see how this relationship is and how the questions are asked in the examination. See, what is this relationship? Now, the humans, they are dependent upon nature. They depend on nature. For what? Various resources. Various resources. What kind of resources? Be it, okay, oil, gas, minerals, sea roots, water, etc. So humans are dependent upon. See, this is how you convert the words into a flow chart. Okay. And when they are dependent upon nature, okay, when they will be taking away oil, when they will be taking away the minerals, they modify it. They modify the nature. Okay. Now this is from where the questions are being asked. I'll show you the questions. They'll be asking the distribution of oil in the world. They will ask which mineral is present where, and which industry is dependent upon which kind of mineral, how the industrial pattern is changing, etc. They will ask why there is Arctic rush, why people are rushing towards the Arctic for resources. And there are so many questions with respect to water stress. Now in the process they will be modifying the nature. Now how it is manifested, the modifying of the nature. So this is manifested or evident in the form of this so-called climate change. I will not give you so many examples. Climate change, scarification of land. Scarification मतलब जब भी आप माइनिंग करते हो, ऐसे खुदाई करते हो, स्कार बोलते हैं ना, scarification of land. Okay, excessive sedimentation, because whenever you do scarification, so landslides होते हैं, mudslides होते हैं, sediments go and fill in the rivers, and acidification of ocean, increase of CO2, etc. blah blah. You modify the nature, and once you are modifying the nature, now everything runs in a closed loop. Closed loop मतलब feedback mechanism होता है. जब आप nature को modify कर रहे हो, don't you think nature will also impact, right? So these are the nature also influences the humans. Now how it is influencing? It is influencing, in terms of sea level change. Questions come from here. Sea level changes, coral bleaching, cyclones, scarcity of resources. You can see the questions from each and everything from what I have written here. So हर एक से क्वेश्चन बनता है. Please draw this, and you should also learn to draw the diagrams in the examination. अगर डायग्राम नाम पे नहीं बन रहा है, एक फ्लो चार्ट ड्रॉ कर दो. So कुछ ना कुछ एक स्कीमेटिक वहाँ पे ड्रॉ करो. And remember in your notes also, per one page you should be having at least one diagram. Make sure of this, right? Now, since all these things are happening, so geography as a discipline, it is not just physical, it is equally human. This is very important. Equally human. Because in geography we are studying the man-environment relationship or human-environment to be general neutral, human-environment relationship. Now, if you want to understand what all things you should write in the examination, so what are things the answers will include? Means, I have seen many people, on the, online वगैरह, अगर, how to generate multiple dimensions in answer, वो लोग बोलेंगे historically, mysterically, economically, environmentally, ऐसा कुछ, dimensions बनाते हैं. But, मेरे subject के लिए, I know what all dimensions you can generate. If any question is being asked, firstly, think from the dimension of, I'll tell you various dimensions, how to generate the answers. Because geography is equally human, it is physical, as well as human, it is subjective as well as objective. So think from the physiography. Physiography means one dimension can be of the mountains, rivers, plains, plateaus, over like point हो गया. Then, for example, they are asking you very simple question. I'll take. For example, they are asking you what? Explain me something about छोटा नागपुर plateau. आपको पता नहीं यहाँ पे क्या लिखना है, right? Or I will take one previous year question. They have asked why India is called as a subcontinent, right? So, वहाँ का physiography can explain first part. Next, how India is united by climate. You can talk about the climate of a region. You can talk about the oceans or seas of that region, how it unites, how it makes India a subcontinent. Then you can talk about the soils of that region. Then you can talk about the biota, that is the plants, animals. So you have generated 5 dimensions. So these have become the physical geography part. Or we can say this has become the objective science. Objective. Then for 10 marks you have to generate at least 10 dimensions, right? Abhi 5 dimensions ho gaya. So when you are writing an answer in geography, you don't have to think much. Just rehearse your syllabus. You will get various dimensions. I hope the language which I am speaking is very easy for you. कुछ difficulty नहीं है. सबको समझ में आ रहा है ना? North, south, east, west, कहीं से भी हो. क्या दिक्कत हो तो बता देना. I'll switch to हिंदी. The problem क्या है, हिंदी में मेरा flow थोड़ा बिगड़ जाता है. Then appropriate words जो आपको एग्जाम में लिखना चाहिए ना, वो नहीं मिल पाएंगे. थोड़ा मुश्किल हो जाएगा. इसलिए आपको कहीं पे भी लग रहा है. Anyways, जब भी कॉन्सेप्ट्स की बारी आएगी, I'll switch to हिंदी also. Doesn't matter. Then you talk about economic geography. Means minerals, industries. So these things you can talk about. So next, these minerals and industries, how it is affecting the humans in terms of your income, or HDI, Human Development Index, means how well the humans are, how bad or good. Simply you can also talk about their wellness, well-being, मतलब developed है, underdeveloped है, not least developed है, something like that. So income levels, etc. Then you can talk about the demography also. क्या वहाँ पे यंग पॉपुलेशन है, ओल्ड पॉपुलेशन है, अब बूढ़े लोग ज़्यादा है तो उनके प्रॉब्लम्स अलग होंगे. If you are having more young population, then you have to educate them, you have to provide them with health infrastructure, etc. You can talk about demography. Then you can talk about settlements. Settlements in India में, we can talk about urban areas or urban problems. This will come. If any country is having a lot of rural areas, you can talk about rural areas, urban areas less, what kind of problems they have, whether they are dependent upon agriculture, etc. So you can also add, minerals industry, so if something, if some economy is dependent upon agriculture, you can also add agriculture. Then you can also add, okay, the unique problems of an area. Unique problems of an area. For example, let me take a previous year question and demonstrate you how you can write the answer. Now there was a simple question, okay, which has been asked previously. Explain the geophysical features of the circum-Pacific belt. ये वाला question है. Geophysical features of circum-Pacific belt. Now कोई भी आम आदमी, any general candidate, अरे यहाँ पे सिर्फ geophysical features पूछा है. So what they will do? Okay, they will write about the mountains of that area. They will write about the volcanoes of that area. बस आंसर खत्म कर देंगे. Now let me demonstrate you how you can write this answer. When you're talking about geophysical features, there you can talk how the ocean is. You may not understand many technical words here, but I'm giving you a flow. You can talk about how the ocean plate is undergoing subduction. मतलब ocean वहाँ पे नीचे जा रहा है. Because of that, how the volcanism is generated. You can talk about the volcanoes. And because of the accretionary prism or accretionary wedge, how the mountain is generated. Mountain, okay, ranges are generated such as Rockies, Andes. And associated with this phenomena, how you have the disasters there, because it is extremely prone to the earthquakes, okay, and volcanism. Okay, ये physical geography का part हो गया. बहुत सारे लोग यहाँ तक लिख के they will stop. Next, explain the climate. Now, how these mountain barriers are changing the climate. For example, Rocky Mountains in USA, how they are creating the prairies in Canada and the USA, and how it has become the bread basket of the world. Then in South America also you can talk about the pampas, the temperate grasslands, how it is feeding the South America. Okay, you can talk about bit of climate there. Now oceans. Now how the ocean currents, ocean means थोड़ा बहुत ocean currents के बारे में we can talk. How the ocean currents, say California current is creating the Mojave Desert or the Californian Desert or the Peruvian Desert or Atacama Desert in South America. So a little bit of oceanography आ गया. Next, soils. The volcanism, the Pacific Ring of Fire around the Pacific Ocean, when you have the volcanism, this volcanic ash and dust will be creating fertile soils, and how they will be helping in agriculture. Okay, how certain landscapes have been created, okay, because of this volcanic basalt, and how it has become fertile and how it is supporting the agriculture. Then you can talk about the biota. That these mountains which have been created, so when you are climbing up the mountains, the temperature will reduce. So when the temperature reduces, the biota also changes. The plants will change. So initially you might be finding the deciduous vegetation. So while you go up, you'll find more alpine vegetation. मतलब pine trees ज़्यादा होंगे वहाँ पे. So जब भी आप पहाड़ चढ़ते हो, वहाँ पे vegetation बदल जाता है. And जब vegetation बदलता है, animals भी बदल जाते हैं. So वो एक how it is affecting. Next, minerals and industries. For example, this Himalayan, this mountain region such as Rockies and Andes, कैसे form हुए? Because of the uplifted marine sediments. So समंदर से उठा हुआ है. So उसमें बहुत सारा नमक होगा. And उस नमक में आपको lithium भी मिलती है. Such as you have lithium triangle in Bolivia, Argentina, and Chile, and also almost 30% of the world's copper. In fact, 50% of the world's copper is present in that Peru and Chile. They have become the mineral rich, right? But the industries are not developed there because of lack of technology. These are poor countries. Their income is not that great. Whereas in North America, because of early industrialization, the income levels are good. And you can talk about the demography. But these countries have achieved high developmental levels earlier. Now they are having aging population. Aging population has its own. उसके बारे में separate discussion हो सकता है. Then These, okay, in North America it has been highly urbanized, South America is not that urbanized. Like that you can talk. Next, if any unique problems are that we can talk about. So this is how you can generate many dimensions. And here I am not saying that all the dimensions you should be writing in the answer. At least you will get to know, आपको पता तो लगे कि एग्जामिनेशन में कैसे जनरेट करना है. मतलब आपके पास आइडियाज की कमी नहीं होगी एग्जाम में, पॉइंट्स की कमी नहीं होगी एग्जाम में. आपके पास आपको आपका सिलेबस पता है, क्या लिखना है आपको पता है. So that's why I'm telling you. So it is not just okay physical, it is equally human geography. I hope you have made this ये भाई कोई तो एक दिखाओ भाई चेहरा. मनु भाई, you are my friend. Okay. So any doubt here? Are you understanding everything? All clear? Very good. Now write down. You can give a side heading also. Okay. Is geography just physical? You can give a side heading. Question mark डालो वहाँ पे. Yes, Sumit, you are visible. ढंग से नहीं दिख रहे हो. आपका पंखा दिख रहा है या हाथ दिख रहा है या. Is geography just physical? See, why I'm making you write all this in the first page itself, because आपको पता चलना चाहिए. Because whenever you will be opening the book, you will be opening these pages. आपको at least पता चले कि एग्जाम में आपको क्या लिखना है. Write down. Geography has two major branches. Geography has two major branches. The physical geography. The physical geography. In bracket you write. See, whenever you want to express more, लेकिन आपको okay sentences कम करना है वहाँ पे, bracket में सब कुछ include कर सकते हो. Physical geography, that is the landforms, जो भी यहाँ पे वो लिखो. Landforms, climate, water bodies, soils and biota. It is also equally human. It is also equally human. In bracket you can write minerals, industries, transport, culture, agriculture, developmental levels or well-being you can write. Developmental levels. Demography. Settlements. And unique problems if any. Change the para and write. So modern geography emphasizes on integration and not separation of these branches. So modern geography emphasizes on integration and not separation of these branches. So ये तो academically जो बोलना है बोल दिया, लेकिन इससे आपका टेक अवे क्या है? What's your take away? What's your application? So ये margins में लिखो application. Margins में लिखो. So while writing geography answers, include physical as well as human aspects. So while writing the answers in geography, include physical as well as human aspects. So this is the very important point. Now, one more point, which I want to emphasize here, which will be helpful to you in answer writing. That is, the geography has certain schools of thought. One is environmental determinism. Other is possibilism. Third one is stop and go determinism. So this is what the modern one is. So this is what modern. So this is from where your sustainable development will come. And these are the themes which are running in geography today. Major themes in geography are related to sustainable development. Now determinism means here human activities are determined by the environment. So human activities determined by environment. See, even today, if you are in a certain geographical terrain which has lot of difficulties, your development is constrained. आप desert में हो, beyond a certain development level, you cannot go. For example, but this has been disproved. So पहले 1940s तक, Dubai is a very good example. Dubai or Middle East. So वहाँ पे geographical constraint है. भगवान ने बोला या नेचर ने बोला, भैया तुम्हारा डेवलपमेंट इसके बियॉन्ड नहीं जा सकता है, राइट? सो एनवायरमेंटली योर लाइफ इज डिटरमाइंड. तुम्हारा तकदीर लिखा गया बिकॉज यू आर बोर्न इन सर्टेन टाइप ऑफ ज्योग्राफी, सच एज इन द डेजर्ट, सच एज इन साइबेरिया. इफ यू आर बोर्न इन नदर्न पार्ट ऑफ कैनेडा, तुम्हारा तकदीर ऑलरेडी लिखा गया. दैट इज एनवायरमेंटल डिटरमिनिज्म. बट you also have possibilism. Possibilism means you come across the vagaries of the nature. मतलब नेचर आपको कितना भी तकलीफ पहुंचाए, आपके पास जितनी भी रिसोर्सेस है, उन सब रिसोर्सेस को आप यूज करके नेचर के अगेंस्ट जाओगे. मीन्स नेचर ने जो डिटरमाइन किया आपका लाइफ जो होना चाहिए, सो यू गो अगेंस्ट ऑल द ऑड्स and you have a certain lifestyle. That is possibilism. Here you prove that anything is possible by human. तो ये prove करते हो. So Dubai till 1940s or till 70s. Now after 70s, so whatever resources they had, oil resources, they are able to use that, and then they have developed after 70s. So after 80s, especially after 2000s. They have proved that anything is possible. But again, recent Gulf War, the Iran war, again has put limitations. Bhaiya, आप if you are belonging to certain type of geography for a certain period of time, you will be able to come across all the odds and you will be able to develop. Lekin it's not possible  So this is stop and go determinism. मीन्स नेचर ने जो सेट किया है ब्रेक्स, यू विल रेस्पेक्ट दैट. अभी यहाँ पे क्या कर रहे थे पहले, पानी नहीं था. They're drawing the ocean water, desalinizing it by using a very large amount of energy, and then supplying the fresh water, having a very good, filthy, rich lifestyle. लेकिन for how long it is possible? अभी ईरान ने जितने भी उनका लाइफ अगर what डिफिकल्ट करना है, ईरान को बस डीसैलिनेशन प्लांट में एक $20,000 का एक मिसाइल छोड़ना है, बस चीप मिसाइल, एक छोटा सा ड्रोन जाके वहाँ पे छोड़ के फिनिश करना है. देयर लाइफ विल कम टू स्टैंड स्टिल. बड़े बड़े न्यूक्लियर बॉम्ब डालने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. दैट्स व्हाई वी हैव टू respect the obstacles which are laid by the nature, and then we have to go accordingly. So this is stop and go determinism, and this is sustainable development, and today this is the theme of geography. Okay, understood? So what kind of question means, what should be the tone of your answer? Okay, when you are writing an answer in the economy, there the tone will be different. And when you are writing an answer in geography, your answer should always address the environmental issues. Even in questions you will see, there's so many questions which are with respect to the environment, the effect of the human over the nature. So always, you have to respect the environment, and always you have to give solution to the environmental problems. First I will dictate you, then I will tell you what is the takeaway. Takeaway you write in the margins. Write down. You can give a side heading, schools in geography. Schools in geography. The major approaches. Which explain the human environment relationship. The human environment relationship. Are A. Environmental determinism. Where the human activities are controlled by nature. Human activities are controlled by nature. Now, whenever you are writing an answer, you should not say anything just like that. You have to substantiate with examples all the time. Example: desert regions. Siberia. Hilly regions, etc. B. Second school, possibilism. That is, nature provides possibilities. Nature provides possibilities, and humans make choices. Example again. The oil resources have changed the fate. the fate of the Gulf countries. Second example, let's take a hilly region. Now tell me one hilly region which is not supposed to have economic development, nothing, but it has. Tell me example. Sikkim, okay, good, Manu, good. Sikkim has highest per capita income. But whenever you are choosing an example ना, the example should be superlative. मतलब उसके beyond और कोई example नहीं होना चाहिए. आरावली में कौन सा development है भाई? स्विट्जरलैंड देखो, स्विट्जरलैंड despite having difficult terrain and harsh climate, despite having difficult climate, harsh climate and difficult terrain, has one of the best developmental indicators. Next, third school of thought, third one. See, neo-determinism or stop and go determinism. Neo-determinism or stop and go determinism. It is a balanced approach. It is a balanced approach. That is, the development with environmental limits. Development with environmental limits. ये तो हो गया आपकी थियरी हो गया. This will never be asked in examination. I'm telling you. Okay, some people, okay, when this will be put online, okay, नीचे कमेंट्स में डालेंगे ये तो एग्जाम में कुछ नहीं आता है, तो जीएस है, सर ये सब क्यों पढ़ा रहा है, ये सब थियरी है, ये सब ऑप्शनल का है, ये सब. व्हाट इज द टेक अवे? आपका टेक अवे क्या है? ब्रैकेट साइड में मार्जिन्स में लिखो. यू टेल मी व्हाट इज द टेक अवे. वेरी गुड मनु, यू आर माई ओनली होप इन द क्लास मनु, थैंक यू. बिकॉज मैंने सी योर फेसेस ऑल्सो गेट टू नो, जब मैं डिक्टेट कर रहा हूँ आप कौन से पेज पे लिख रहे हो वो भी पता चलता है मुझे उसके अकॉर्डिंग. ओके, या थिंक फ्रॉम द, सो टेक अवे क्या है लिखो. सो नाउअडेज most of the questions are on how man is affecting the nature. How man is affecting the nature. And every topic should be dealt from that perspective. Every topic should be dealt from that perspective. And also provide solutions. Okay. Sabhi, now, okay, because I wanted to explain you the locus and focus of geography. So finally, जो theory वाला part हो गया अभी, so finally you write what is the relevance of geography today. Relevance means what kind of things are being studied, okay, in the universities. What kind of research papers are being published. Because this is from where the questions will be asked. And these kind of topics you should be focusing on. And whenever any article related to these topics come in the newspaper, then you should be taking a note. Okay? And no problem, Sumit. For next time, see, even if you have less pixels in your camera, you can improve your visibility by proper lighting. Okay, my picture is clear to you, everyone? Hope my pixels are not breaking. Okay, fine. So, relevance of geography, write down. Climate change and sustainability studies. Climate change and sustainability studies. Next one is disaster management. Disaster management. In bracket you write cyclones, earthquakes, floods. Cyclones, earthquakes, floods. Next, urban planning and smart cities. Urban planning and smart cities. So next, resource management and geopolitics. Resource management and geopolitics. Next, environmental conservation. Environmental conservation and biodiversity. And biodiversity. Now I'll show you the previous year questions. Okay, for this, I have made a little bit of this also. So environmental determinism, possibilism, and this is neo-determinism, where you will be having a balance. So geography will be having all the branches, whichever I have discussed. Okay, so this is the modern relevance of geography, which I have dictated. Now let's see the questions. Right? Now, these are the questions from geomorphology. So 2025. What are tsunamis, how and where they are formed? So here I have taken the analysis of around, around 8 years. And you see what is the weightage over here and in which direction they are asking questions. So I would have taken the prelims based questions also, that I will take later. But in mains based questions, you will be having themes, you will be getting the tone. Pulse आपको समझ में आएगा examiner का. So tsunamis, how and where they are formed, what are their consequences? Consequences. Explain with example. Now you see in every question, they are asking, whenever you are given a question, you should split it into various parts. Now what are tsunamis? What aspect पूछ लिया exam में? Okay. How and where? How aspect they have asked? Where? So you must be seeing some videos online. अगर आपको किसी क्वेश्चन का आंसर देना है, then आप इससे भी कर सकते हो. How, what, where, when. If you are asking these questions, then also you'll get the answer. But again, for our geography, I've given you various dimensions and stick to those dimensions. You'll be getting at least 10 dimensions. And ये तो first class है, आपको 10 dimensions मिला है. When you'll be doing all the syllabus ना, you'll be getting more dimensions also. So where they are formed, what are the consequences? See, this is the first part of the question. How and where they are formed. This is the second part of the question. In fact, second and third part of the question. Means आपको ज़रूरत नहीं है what ज़्यादा दिमाग use करने का in generating the dimensions. Already in the question they have been asked, and just have to split the question into various parts. And सबका heading और side heading तैयार कर लो, आपका आंसर हो गया in a very systematic way. Structure मिल गया आपको आंसर को. एक बार आपको skeleton मिल गया, उसके ऊपर अंदर mass भर सकते हो आप. What are the consequences? Explain with examples. See, always, even in examination, if they are not asking you the examples, you should always explain with examples. Take 1 or 2 case studies here. Next, discuss how the changes in the shapes and sizes of the continents and ocean basins of the planet take place due to tectonic movements of the crustal masses. So here also we see how the changes, okay, see the number of dimensions here, changes in the shape of the continent, shape कैसे change हो रहा है, size कैसे change हो रहा है, 2 dimensions, continents का, oceans का भी, due to tectonic movements. So these are all the keywords. So continents का shape और size कैसे change हो रहा है due to tectonic movements, and ocean का shape और size कैसे change हो रहा है due to tectonic movements. Now firstly you can take a side heading, continents, how the shapes of the shapes and sizes of the continents are changing. Give various examples. This is a 15 marker, means इसमें आपको minimum 250 words लिखना है. So later on, okay, when you will be doing the syllabus you will understand, but you know now I am explaining the dimensions. फिर oceans का भी बता दो. So next, what are aurora australis and aurora borealis and how are they triggered? Now here just asking, okay, what, okay, and how are they triggered? What aspect they are asking and how aspect they are asking. But don't you think you will not ask, you will not answer what are the consequences? Because geography is all about the man environment relationship. अरे भाई हो रहा है अभी अरोरा ऑस्ट्रेलिस हो रहा है, ओके बोरियालिस हो रहा है, लेकिन उससे मुझे क्या? इफ यू आर जस्ट गेटिंग द टोन, ओके, अब जस्ट जो एग्जाम क्वेश्चन में दिया है सिर्फ उसी डायमेंशन में अगर सोचोगे देन ज्योग्राफी का आंसर नहीं लिख पाओगे आप. बिकॉज ज्योग्राफी इज अबाउट मैन और ह्यूमन एनवायरमेंट रिलेशनशिप. नाउ how they are formed, okay, how these are triggered. Now triggering matlab they are asking about dynamic aspect, means sometimes they can increase, sometimes they can decrease. Now what can be the consequence of that? उससे क्या, अगर वो ज़्यादा हो जाएगा then earth बह जाएगा. Does it affect your communication? Does it affect the migration path of the marine animals and birds? Does it affect your skin? Does it cause skin cancers? Does it affect the photosensitivity or photosynthetic capacity of plants? What will happen to the yield of the plants? उससे क्या, you know, average temperature on the surface of the earth change होगा? So even if they are not asking the consequences, you should write the consequences, because geography is about the human environment relationship. This many people forget. So these are the questions in 25, 24. One question has come. Now describe the characteristics of primary rocks. See, आपको थोड़ा बहुत तो आइडिया है ना what I am talking. Okay, थोड़ा बहुत geography का आइडिया है सबको, right? नंदा, सुमित, और कौन है? Yes, okay, Manu, good guy. Sumit, okay, yes. Nanda? Hafiz, okay, good. And I want to ask you one more question. Okay, you should answer me very honestly. So till what level you have studied in geography? इसके पहले आपने already coaching किया है. Don't hesitate, you know, जो भी है ऑलरेडी कोचिंग किया है, आधी अधूरी किया है, या सिर्फ एनसीईआरटी पढ़ा है. ओके, सुमित बोस 10th लेवल. ओके, बिकॉज आई विल हैव एन अंडरस्टैंडिंग, मतलब आपको किस लेवल से ले जाऊं. बिकॉज व्हाट हैपेंस ऑफन इज दैट, अच्छा स्कूल लेवल, ओके, कॉलेज, लेकिन जो भी मैं चीज़ें बता रहा हूँ आपको समझ में आ रहा है ना? मीन्स व्हेन आई एम एक्सप्लेनिंग हाउ टू राइट एन आंसर, व्हेन आई एम एक्सप्लेनिंग द डायमेंशंस इन द आंसर्स, it makes sense, right? Okay, good. Because generally, okay, I should be discussing all these things after your prelims. मतलब you know, पूरा कोर्स खत्म होने के बाद, आप पढ़ने के बाद, आप आंसर लिखने के बाद, जनरली मैं डिस्कस करना चाहिए, लेकिन मैं अभी डिस्कस कर रहा हूँ इन द स्टार्टिंग स्टेज इटसेल्फ. समझ में आ रहा है आपको, राइट? सो व्हाई आई एम डिस्कसिंग, Because you will get to know from the starting itself, you will get to know. आपको इधर उधर भटकना नहीं चाहिए, आपको पता होनी चाहिए आपकी लोकस क्या है, आपकी फोकस क्या है, एग्जामिनेशन की डिमांड क्या है, किस डायरेक्शन में सोचना है. सो पहले से आपको मैं क्लियर कर रहा हूँ, ये लिख के रखो एंड नोट्स के स्टार्टिंग में ही लिख लो, ताकि वेन एवर यू ओपन द नोट्स यू शुड सी दिस फर्स्ट एंड इट शुड बी इम्प्रिंटेड इन योर माइंड. ओके, नाउ डिस्कस द कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स एंड टाइप्स ऑफ प्राइमरी रॉक्स. अभी जनरली व्हाट पीपल राइट इज दैट प्राइमरी रॉक्स आर इग्नियस रॉक्स, राइट? इतना ही लिखते हैं ना. बट व्हाट अबाउट द मैन एनवायरनमेंट रिलेशनशिप? So people will be writing igneous rocks and properties, right? But what it has to do with man or human, then that is where you should be extending it further. So these are the primary rocks. Granite एक primary rock है. मतलब सेम रॉक जब अंदर फॉर्म होता है, बाहर फॉर्म होता है, अलग होता है. जब कोई रॉक जमीन के अंदर फॉर्म होता है, it is called intrinsic rock. It is hard. Granite, it is formed inside. Now what are the economic uses of various rocks? Granite है, cooling करता है. It is hard. It is used in the flooring. It is used in construction. Limestone, it is used in the industries. You have this slate. Okay, it is a metamorphic form of clay. It is used for writing purposes. I am giving you various names. Coal is also type of a rock. It is energy, right? So you have to get in the man-environment relationship as well. You have to talk about the economic uses of various rocks and minerals. Next, mention the global occurrences of volcanic eruptions in 21 and their impact in regional environment. Now, why this question has been asked? Because during that time there was a discussion going on. See, a geology में क्या होता है ना, things are not random. There will be certain time periods during which certain activities are very prominent. Now for example, okay, if I want to make you search, okay, आपको इसके ऊपर article भी दिख जाएगा, such as so is this the era of volcanism? Has volcanic activity been increasing? Because there are discussions going on. Is Iceland entering volcanic era? When was the most active period of Earth on volcanism? 66 million years ago, there led to 66 million years ago. Okay, there was extensive volcanism, and because of which mass scale extinction have taken place. So there have been discussions. Have there been periods of greater or lesser volcanism? So it was under discussion. 2020 में क्या हुआ आपका, वो क्या बोलते हैं, कोविड आया. So then everyone thought world तबाह हो रही है, खत्म हो रहा है. तभी volcanism activity भी बढ़ रही है. Then कुछ लोगों ने रिसर्च किया. Is this the period of active volcanism? Is the world going to end? Right? So बिना कॉन्टेक्स्ट का यूपीएससी क्वेश्चन नहीं पूछता है. That's why sometimes you might be thinking that randomly ऐसा क्वेश्चन क्यों पूछना है. It's not random. And the impact on regional environment, how it will be affecting, whether it will affect जब भी volcanic इतना धुआं बहुत निकलता है, जब plains को obstruct करता है, there is only not the negative effect of volcanism, positive effect भी है. Volcanism से नए landforms are created. वॉल्केनो से जो ऐश निकलती है, डस्ट निकलती है, दैट इज वेरी फर्टाइल. अभी डेक्कन लावा प्लेट्यू इंडिया में, दैट इज अ बाई प्रोडक्ट ऑफ वॉल्केनिज्म. बिकॉज ऑफ दैट यू हैव फर्टाइल ब्लैक सॉइल्स. यू शुड टॉक अबाउट ऑल दिस थिंग्स. नेक्स्ट, जस्ट नाउ टॉकिंग डिस्कस द जियोफिजिकल कैरेक्टरिस्टिक ऑफ सर्कम पैसिफिक जोन. सो यू हैव टू डिस्कस एवरीथिंग. मैन एनवायरमेंट रिलेशनशिप. बिकॉज ऑफ वॉल्केनोज व्हाट हैपेंड, बिकॉज ऑफ माउंटेन चेंज व्हाट हैपेंड, डिड द क्लाइमेट चेंज, डिड इट अफेक्ट द पीपल, एक्सेट्रा. एवरीथिंग यू शुड टॉक अबाउट. Define the mantle plume and explain. Okay, these things you may not understand now, because it's a hardcore. Okay, this is till 2018. देखो यहाँ पे 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 years में okay you had मतलब हर साल every year there is at least one question from geomorphology, right? You understood? So you will get to know how much importance you should be giving to geomorphology. Next, see climatology. देखो, what is the sea surface temperature rise? How does it affect formation of tropical cyclones? See, आजकल में both what candidates when they come, they ask me, sir, is it positive, negative? Should I always answer in a positive way? भाई मुझे समझ में नहीं आता पॉजिटिव क्या है नेगेटिव क्या है. मुझे समझ में आता है ज्योग्राफी, एंड मेरी ज्योग्राफी ये बोलती है ह्यूमंस दैट डिपेंडेंट अपॉन द नेचर फॉर रिसोर्सेस एंड बिकॉज ऑफ विच दे आर डिस्ट्रॉइंग द नेचर एंड नेचर विल बी शोइंग द कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस. मुझे ये समझ में आता है. मुझे ये पॉजिटिव नेगेटिव ओके क्रिटिसिज्म ओके ये सब कुछ समझ में नहीं आता है. एंड यूपीएससी को भी शायद मेरी भाषा समझ में आती है, इसलिए क्वेश्चन देखो. And most of the people, okay, when I take offline classes also, sir, I think we are going in a negative way. Means आजकल ऐसे माहौल क्रिएट हो गया, ऐसा एटमॉस्फेयर क्रिएट हो गया. You can't even see until and unless you don't think of the consequences, you will not come up with a solution. So you should know what are the cons of that. जब तक आपको प्रॉब्लम पता नहीं चलेगा आप सॉल्यूशन निकाल नहीं पाओगे. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, आपने एक आंसर लिखा, मुझे शो किया एंड पूछा सर मेरी आंसर कैसा है. अगर मैं बोलता हूँ सब चंगा सी ओके बहुत चंगा बहुत अच्छा है अंता बागुंदी नल्लारिका है, हाँ सब कुछ बोलूँगा तो आपको क्या लगेगा? मुझे आपकी गलतियाँ निकालना चाहिए ना, तभी ओके आपके आंसर में सुधार आएगी. सो डोंट गेट इनटू दैट zone of negative positive, just analyze everything in a very objective way. And इसलिए मैंने इतना टाइम लेके first 1 hour I've explained you what is geography, in which direction you have to think, and look at the question. For everything now, whatever I say, I'm a very logical guy. So whatever I say, I have got certain basis for saying something. So this is my basis. अभी जियोमॉर्फोलॉजी में तो उतना यू कैनॉट हैव, बट यू सी क्लाइमेटोलॉजी. टेम्परेचर राइज affect the formation of tropical cyclones, whether the cyclones are increasing, decreasing. Okay, again this has negative connotation. What is the phenomenon of cloud burst? It is not asking clouds, how are the clouds formed, what are the various types of clouds. Cloud burst हो रहा है, क्लाउड बड़ा क्लाउड फॉर्म होके टूट के तुमके ऊपर बाढ़ आ रहा है. सो दे आर आस्किंग दैट. Next, what is a twister? Again, twister is a kind of a cyclone बोल सकता हूँ मैं, which is formed over the water. And why majority of the twisters are observed in Gulf of Mexico? Now again this is happening because of your climate change. सारे ही क्वेश्चन देखो. Effect of human over the nature, इसके बेसिस पे सारे क्वेश्चंस है. See, troposphere is a very significant atmospheric layer that determines weather processes. How? Of course, see, you can answer this in a very static way, but if you understand the tone of the geography, the pulse of geography, you can explain the same phenomena through the effects. मतलब आप सिंपली ये बता सकते हो कि ट्रोपोस्फीयर इज वेरी सिग्निफिकेंट लेयर. ओके, आप इसी क्वेश्चन को ऐसे बता सकते हो कि ट्रोपोस्फीयर हैज मैक्सिमम अमाउंट ऑफ CO2 which is a greenhouse gas and it is responsible for the ambient temperature on the surface of the earth. It is one dimension. But as a geographer, what is my concern? Troposphere has CO2, and because of human activities, the CO2 in the atmosphere is increasing, and because of which it is causing climate vagaries. सेम चीज को मैंने इफेक्ट के साथ बताया. So that is the effective way of communication or writing the answers. Since it is your first class, I am not explaining everything, I am just telling you. First, understand the tone of the subject, understand the pulse of the subject. Now, briefly mention the alignment of major mountain ranges of the world and explain their impact on local weather conditions with examples. Now, for example, कोई mountain, for example, आप Western Ghats ही ले लो. So, near India, you have Western Ghats. So, because of the orientation of the mountain, क्या हो रहा है? The western side of the Western Ghats, केरला वगैरह, बहुत रेनफॉल होती है. एंड इस तरफ जब आओगे, मराठवाड़ा है, ओके, नॉर्दर्न पार्ट ऑफ कर्नाटका है, विदर्भा है, वहाँ पे बारिश कम होती है, ड्राई रीजन. इट इज बिकॉज ऑफ द अलाइनमेंट ऑफ द माउंटेन रेंज, राइट. सी आप स्टैटिक भी डिस्कस कर सकते हो, डायनामिक भी डिस्कस कर सकते हो. नाउ यू कैन ऑल्सो टॉक अबाउट द चेंजिंग पैटर्न ऑफ मॉनसून्स एंड बिकॉज ऑफ द माउंटेन दैट इज हाउ इट इज बीइंग अफेक्टेड, right? So you'll be getting more marks when you will be talking about the dynamic part, when you catch the pulse of the subject. So these are from pure climatology part. Again, climatology कितने से क्वेश्चन आए? 1 2 3 4 5 कम दिख रहे हैं, लेकिन मैं बाद में दूसरा सेक्शन दिखाऊंगा. There you will find more. In fact, the amount of the questions from climatology are highest. I'll show you. Next, oceanography. Again, see how climate change and sea level rise are affecting very existence of many island nations. Discuss with examples. So, effect of the human on nature, they are focusing. Next, how are the fjords formed and why do they constitute some of the most picturesque landscapes in the world? This is kind of static, एक physical feature पूछ लिया. Next, what are the forces that influence ocean currents? Describe their role in fishing industry of the world. So they are not just asking the static part, but they are also asking the dynamic part. Means because of which, fishing industry is one of the major agriculture, means food industries in the world, and it is being affected. And they are linking the dynamic part with the static part. Again, here we have to talk and how it is being affected. Don't you think it is because of climate change, because of the humans again? Next, assess the impact of global warming on coral life. Again, see, global warming. Effect of man on the nature. Discuss the causes of depletion of mangroves. Effect of man on the nature. And what is their importance in maintaining coastal ecology? Now, how do ocean currents and water masses differ in their impacts? Again, the impacts, marine life and coastal environment. See the tone. So where their focus is more, here I have discussed. Where is that? So which part they are focusing on? So do you think these are making sense now? Environmental policy must stop and go to sustainable development. For static questions, you can choose this. See. So all your questions are lying here or here. Don't know. Or they are linking this with this. Now it makes sense. Now you understood why I took so much time to explain all this. Right? And I bet no one in the country, आप किसी भी क्लास देखना, no one in the country will teach you all this. No one. मीन्स किसी को, मुझे लगता है कि किसी टीचर को कुछ परवाह ही नहीं है, मतलब बच्चा कैसे आंसर लिखे. Okay. Next, what are the consequences of spreading dead zones? Marine ecosystem. Again, effect of the human. This climate change and the effect of man on nature. See, so many questions will come. So discuss the distribution and density of population in the Ganga river basin with special reference to land, soil and water resources. See, कितने dimensions है question में. See, day by day, the complexity of questions is increasing. You have to talk about the distribution. Means कहाँ पे ज़्यादा population है, कहाँ पे कम population है. Density of population. Ganga river basin. Ganga river basin means you have to start from western part of the UP, से लेके मतलब what eastern part of the UP, Bihar, Bengal. You have to take these various regions. इस 4 डायमेंशन कर लेना. वेस्टर्न यूपी अलग है, ईस्टर्न यूपी अलग है, बिहार, बंगाल, ओके आप कंबाइन कर सकते हो. सो 2-3 पार्ट्स यू मेक. मीन्स कहाँ पे कितना पॉपुलेशन है. अब वेस्टर्न यूपी में पॉपुलेशन अलग होगा, ईस्टर्न यूपी में पॉपुलेशन अलग होगा, राइट. नाउ हाउ इट इज अफेक्टिंग द लैंड. मीन्स यू हैव टू कंसिडर देयर एग्रीकल्चरल एक्टिविटीज, व्हाट काइंड ऑफ एक्टिविटीज दे डू, how they are using the soil, water resources and land, and because of which what will be the effects, right. So इतने सारे dimensions है. So effect of man on the nature. Next, underground water potential of Gangetic Valley is on serious decline. How may it affect the food security of India? So these are highly dynamic in nature. The groundwater decline हो रहा है. Again you will be studying this in geography. Next, achieving sustainable growth with emphasis on environmental protection could come in conflict with the poor people needs in the country like India. So sustainable development matlab, for example, I'll tell you, environmental protection. Now how it will be coming in conflict with the poor people? For example, आप environment को protect करना चाहते हो, आपने किसी रीजन को टाइगर रिजर्व डिक्लेयर कर दिया, बिकॉज एनवायरमेंट प्रोटेक्शन है. जब किसी को आप टाइगर रिजर्व डिक्लेयर करते हो, वहां पे जो ट्राइबल्स है उनको भगा देते हो ना. यस, डोंट यू थिंक इट विल बी अफेक्टिंग पुअर पीपल? कैन यू टेल मी योर एग्जांपल्स? आपके पास पूरे एग्जांपल है तो आप बात कर सकते हो. और एक एग्जांपल बताता हूँ. फॉर एग्जांपल, ओके अर्बन एरियाज आर हैविंग लॉट ऑफ फ्लड्स. Now most poor people in the urban areas live in the margins of the ecosystem. या तो ड्रेनेज के पास रहते हैं, नहीं तो तालाब के पास रहते हैं, नहीं तो कहीं पहाड़ को काट के रहते हैं. अभी आपको वहाँ पे अर्बन एरियाज में एनवायरनमेंट को अगर प्रोटेक्ट करना है, अर्बन फ्लडिंग नहीं आने देना है, सो गरीब लोगों को वहाँ से आपको भगाना पड़ेगा ना. सो जितने भी एनवायरमेंटल प्रोटेक्शन के लिए whenever you come up with certain rules and regulations, it will take a hit on the poor people. But again, you have to comment. Comment मतलब क्या? Whether it is the statement is right or wrong, you have to express your opinion. And when you express your opinion, you also have to come up with a solution. आज क्या हो रहा है? Generally what happens? What can be done? You have to step into the shoes of the administrator. You have to behave as if you are a secretary or a director in the environmental ministry, and you have to come up with the policies. This is a policy which will be made by the government, and this can be a solution for that. So that is how you have to think. Next, why in the world today confronted with crisis of availability of access to fresh water? So you will see so many questions which are associated with fresh water crisis. Water crisis देखो, ग्राउंड वाटर यहाँ पे दिख गया, यहाँ पे फिर वाटर रिसोर्सेज पूछा है, यहाँ पे भी वाटर का एंगल भी आएगा. नेक्स्ट, डिस्क्राइब द डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ रबर प्रोड्यूसिंग कंट्री, इंडिकेट द मेजर एनवायरमेंटल इश्यूज फेस्ड. अभी रबर कहाँ पे प्रोड्यूस होता है? रबर इज प्रोड्यूस्ड बाय कटिंग द ट्रॉपिकल एवरग्रीन फॉरेस्ट. इंडिया में more than 90% of the rubber is in Kerala. It is a high rainfall prone region. It also uses a very large amount of water. So issues faced by them. Let's differentiate the causes of landslides in Himalayas region and Western Ghats. So what are the various reasons for the landslides in Himalaya and Western Ghats? Again, deforestation, excessive tourism, building of roadways, highways, etc. You can talk about many things over here. Again, effect of man over the nature. Examine the factors as depleting groundwater resources in India. See, same question, similar question again has been asked. And what are steps taken by, यहाँ पे 3 mention किया, means paper 3. So this question has been asked in paper 3. But you'll be doing this in your paper, means geography में करोगे. Anyways, every year from the geography part itself, they are asking around 100 marks, 100 to 110 marks. And from paper 3 also, around 50 marks, it will be helping you in 50 marks. Means 100 plus 150, around 150 marks. In 150 marks, you'll be getting direct help. And it will be from the 300 page notes. आपका खुद का लिखा हुआ हैंड रिटन नोट्स 300 पन्नों का, उसमें से आप 150 मार्क्स लेके आओगे. दिस इज माई बेट, बिकॉज आई हैव रेड ऑल द रिसोर्सेस. कहाँ पे क्या है मुझे पता है, तो सब कुछ निचोड़ के आपसे मैं लिखवाऊंगा. एंड क्वेश्चंस भी वहीं पे होंगे. इनफैक्ट योर नोट्स विल बी इन द क्वेश्चन एंड आंसर फॉर्मेट. So for every topic, I'll be telling you these are the questions which have been asked previously, and these are the questions which can be asked in the future, and this is the problem and this is the solution, because the question paper is also in such a pattern. Next, again, this has been asked in paper 3, seawater intrusion in coastal water aquifers, causes and remedial measures. Means problem क्या पूछा है, कैसे होता है, and solutions. राइट. नेक्स्ट यहाँ पे अगेन ओके इन 2025 हाफ, यहाँ पे मैंने ओके सिर्फ टॉपिक मेंशन किया है बिकॉज हाफ ऑफ द क्वेश्चन इज अबाउट माइनिंग हज़ार्ड, बाकी हाफ आपके डिजास्टर से रिलेटेड है. इनफैक्ट इफ यू स्टडिंग ज्योग्राफी वेल, यू कैन आंसर द क्वेश्चंस ऑन एनवायरमेंट वेरी वेल, as well as you can answer the questions on disaster management also very well. Next, again, okay, half of the question is on water crisis and second half is about some government program. So mention this. These are in paper 3. Again, they have asked a question on sea level rise in the Indian Ocean region. You can see the themes which are repeating over here. Same questions बार बार पूछ रहा है. Again, see, discuss the consequences of climate change on food security in the tropical countries. You see a similar question here, right? कहाँ पे दिखा food security का? So groundwater depletion, how it affects the food security of India? Huh? So 24 question is that. There's 23 question. वहाँ पे ग्राउंड वाटर डिप्लीशन. नाउ ग्राउंड वाटर डिप्लीशन हैज बीन रिप्लेस्ड बाय क्लाइमेट चेंज. वहाँ पे फूड सिक्योरिटी इन इंडिया, नाउ फूड सिक्योरिटी इन ट्रॉपिकल कंट्रीज. दैट्स व्हाई आंसरिंग प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चंस एंड बीटिंग अराउंड द बुश ऑफ द प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चंस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. एंड सिर्फ प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चन से काम नहीं चलेगा. सो प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चंस विल बी एक्टिंग एज अ गाइड. They will make you practice more. So then only you'll be able to generate as many dimensions as possible. Next question you see. So melting of the Arctic ice and glaciers of the Antarctic differently affect weather patterns and human activities on the earth. Explain. Again, effect of the man on the nature. The process of desertification does not have climate boundaries justify. Because most of the people think that desertification means simply expansion of the desert. ये सिर्फ desert में ही नहीं होता है. Desertification का मतलब है, इसका definition है, if the land or the soil is beyond any use, उसमें agriculture फिर से अगर नहीं होगा, that soil is called as desertified soil. इसलिए does not have climate boundaries. इसका मतलब ये है कि वो सिर्फ डेजर्ट एरिया में नहीं होता है, कहीं पे भी हो सकता है. Justify with examples. And I am very sorry to say this, but again most of the teachers don't even have this depth. So मैं हर साल ज्योग्राफी ऑप्शनल भी पढ़ाता हूँ. So इसीलिए from past 10 years I have been teaching optional also. That's why I know okay what is what. So most of the teachers which you find on the internet, they are very famous on internet, but थोड़ा बहुत ही knowledge होती है. Next, how can the mountain ecosystem restored from the negative impact of developmental initiatives and tourism? See, सबको लगता है development is positive, right? Development positive सबको लगता है ना? बट एक जोग्राफर के माइंड में डेवलपमेंट इज मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम नेगेटिव, मीन्स जो लोगों के मन में जो डेवलपमेंट का मीनिंग है, डेफिनेशन है, तो ज्योग्राफी के मन में वो नेगेटिव है। डेवलपमेंट मतलब क्या आपके लिए? शीशों का महल होना, मतलब आप कोई भी सिटी जा रहे हो, फॉर एग्जाम्पल हैदराबाद का सदर्न पार्ट में जा रहे हो, आप एकदम ओके बड़े बड़े शीशे वाला बिल्डिंग देख गए एंड आप क्या बोलोगे, अरे वाह क्या डेवलपमेंट हो गया। लेकिन वो ज्योग्राफर के लिए डेवलपमेंट नहीं है। द ज्योग्राफर विल थिंक it is a glass and glass is being used in a tropical country, and when the sunlight will be falling on the glass, the sunlight will be reflected down. Instead of sunlight, okay, should be left into the space, it is being reflected on the ground. So near the glass building, the temperature increases by 4 to 5 degrees centigrade, making the area hotter and hotter, and the glass will be trapping the infrared radiation, and glass के अंदर टेम्परेचर ज़्यादा बढ़ता है एंड उसके अंदर आप एसी चला के फिर ठंडा करने की कोशिश करते हो, एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दैट अगेन द टेम्परेचर विल राइज मोर बिकॉज ऑफ द एसी एयर कंडीशनिंग सिस्टम्स। ज्योग्राफर को आपकी जो डेवलपमेंट है ज्योग्राफर के लिए नेगेटिव है। ये वाला एग्जांपल छोड़ो, आप फॉर एग्जांपल गांव में किसी के पास गए, पहले उसके घर के आंगन में पहले मिट्टी हुआ करता था, लेकिन अभी उसने पूरा कंक्रीट परोस दिया। आप क्या बोलोगे? अरे भाई क्या डेवलप हो गया बोलोगे, राइट? फॉर एग्जाम्पल समवन इज स्टेइंग इन ए कच्चा हाउस, एक मड वाला एक ग्रास हाउस बनाया, अभी उसने वो डिस्ट्रॉय करके और एक बिल्डिंग बना लिया कंक्रीट वाला, सीमेंट कंक्रीट। आप क्या बोलोगे? क्या डेवलप हो गया? सो ये ज्योग्राफर डज नॉट सी इट एज ए डेवलपमेंट। Is associated with non-percolation of the water, associated with excessive amount of heat, associated with killing of biota, killing of the earthworms, killing of good bacteria which is present in the soil, associated with flooding. The geographer का lens अलग होता है। See, negative impact of development. UPSC खुद बोल रहा है भाई development is not positive. The kind of development which you are doing is not positive, it is negative. एंड बहुत सारे लोग सोचेंगे कि टूरिज्म की वजह से यू हैव टू डेवलप टूरिज्म एवरीवेयर, यू हैव टू बिल्ड 4 लेन हाईवेज टू द ऑल 4 धाम्स, एवरेस्ट के ऊपर भी 4 लेन हाईवे लेके जाओ, राइट? ये फॉर मोस्ट ऑफ देम इट्स पॉजिटिव, राइट? फॉर ज्योग्राफर इट इज नॉट। इफ यू वांट टू रेस्टोर, इफ यू वांट टू प्रोटेक्ट, सेव द माउंटेन इकोसिस्टम, यू हैव टू पुट अ स्टॉप फॉर दिस काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स। दिस इज द लैंग्वेज ऑफ ज्योग्राफी। एंड जो बहुत सारे लोग ज्योग्राफी की लैंग्वेज, यूपीएससी की लैंग्वेज नहीं समझते हैं, एंड इफ ए पर्सन इज सेइंग दैट इफ यू शुड नॉट बी बिल्डिंग 4 लेन हाईवेज ओके इन द माउंटेन इकोसिस्टम्स, ओके दे विल बी कॉलिंग अगर मैं बोलूँ क्लास में 4 लेन हाईवेज बिल्ड नहीं करना चाहिए, देन पीपल विल बी कॉलिंग मी एज एंटी नेशनल, नक्सल, पता नहीं क्या क्या बोलेंगे। लेकिन यूपीएससी का लैंग्वेज देखो आप। You see, and geography and environment, these two are only those subjects where your thinking pattern changes entirely. अगर इस 2 सब्जेक्ट्स में आपको ढंग का टीचर नहीं मिला ना, आप पूरा आंसर में गड़बड़ करोगे। अगर सही टोन सेट नहीं हुआ आंसर में, पूरा गड़बड़ हो जाएगा, पूरा रॉन्ग हो जाएगा। दैट इज व्हाई पीपल विल बी स्कोरिंग लेस मार्क्स। तो टू सेट द टोन टू द क्लास, have taken this much time, because till now I guess most of the people had their tone wrong. Tell me honestly, अब तक आपने सोचा ना कि पहाड़ों में जाके डेवलपमेंट कर दो, टूरिज्म बढ़ाओ तो अच्छा होगा? Okay, this has been a thinking, right? Which is not. Next, resources of the world. Now look at the question. Distribution of resources. See again, go back to the same basics. कहाँ से questions आ रहे हैं? See, कहाँ पे? This only, resources. Here, around like 30% of the questions are from here, 70% of the questions are from here. And sometimes they'll be combining this and this. जितने भी questions हैं इसी से आ रहे हैं। एंड आपका यहाँ पे टोन सेट होना इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। geographical explanation of distribution of offshore oil reserves of the world and how they are different from onshore. Basically offshore और onshore oil reserves के बारे में पूछा है, because the oil is going to be very important, okay, which UPSC knows. UPSC, and one more thing, UPSC ना चीज़ें पहले ही predict करके रखता है, and the thing which is going to be in the news for the next 2-3 years ना आपको इस बार प्री में मिल जाएगा, मेंस में मिल जाएगा ना. अभी ऑयल की बात हम कर रहे हैं ना, अभी 26 में. UPSC देखो क्वेश्चन 25 में पूछा है, because the people who are preparing the question और renowned professors है, मीन्स उनको आगे 10 साल में क्या होने वाला है अभी से पता होता है. इसलिए मोस्ट ऑफ द क्वेश्चन पेपर्स विच यू सी, especially in science and technology, there are things which we are using right now. टेक्नोलॉजी के बारे में अगर बात करें तो अभी जो बहुत ही व्हाट पब्लिक डोमेन में जो वर्ड्स है, यूपीएससी हैज आस्क्ड वे बैक इन 2018, 17, 16 तभी पूछा है. सो you should be very much aware of the things which are happening in a particular discipline, right? Let's discuss the multi-dimensional implications of uneven distribution of mineral oil in the world. See, almost similar. इधर भी डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन पूछा है लेकिन एफेक्ट्स पूछा है. अनइवन डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन होने से अभी पता चल रहा है आपको, 26 में पता चल रहा है 50% ऑफ द ऑयल इज देयर इन द पर्शियन गल्फ, अनइवन डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन है, एंड 50% इंडिया इंपोर्ट्स फ्रॉम देयर ओनली. वो चोक हो गया, बंद हो गया, कितने सारे दिक्कतें आ रही है. एंड अगले वाले 2-3 महीने में देखो बहुत सारे मुश्किल आने वाला है. एंड अभी भी बड़े सिटी छोड़ के छोटे सिटीज में डीजल ढंग से नहीं मिल रहा है, गैस का तो प्रॉब्लम है ही है. ओके, यू हैव बीन राशन्ड एंड कमर्शियल गैस इज वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू गेट एंड इट विल लीड टू लॉट ऑफ फूड इन्फ्लेशन. सो इंडियन इकोनॉमी इज गोइंग टू बी इन टर्मोइल इन द नियर फ्यूचर. So, okay, I hope I am able to make you clear what this subject is all about. I am unable to discuss all the questions, but through few questions, I guess it is clear to you. सब लोग एक बार रिप्लाई कर दो. समझ में आया सब कुछ? Everything clear? Okay. Then from tomorrow again, tomorrow we'll be entering into hardcore geography. आज तो स्टोन सेट कर दिया. एग्जामिनेशन में पैटर्न कैसे होता है, क्वेश्चंस कैसे आएंगे, आपकी थिंकिंग कैसी होनी चाहिए. सो आई हैव ड्रॉन द आउटर लाइन, आई हैव ड्रॉन द बाउंड्रीज फॉर यू. एंड ऑल्सो वाइल मेकिंग द नोट्स, फ्रॉम टुमारो ऑनवर्ड्स, आजकल जो भी हुआ है कैसे भी लिख लिया. कल से जो भी मैंने फॉर्मेट बताया उसी फॉर्मेट में आपको लिखना है. एंड दिस विल बी एक्सट्रीमली बेनिफिशियल फॉर यू, नॉट ओनली इन दिस सब्जेक्ट बट ऑल्सो इन द अदर सब्जेक्ट्स. ओके, चलो देन. सी यू. आज को रिवाइज करने के लिए कुछ नहीं, लेकिन ये सारी चीज़ें जो भी मैंने बताया ना उसको इंटरनलाइज कर लो. सो वॉट एवर यू हैव लर्न्ड बिफोर दिस, अनलर्न ऑल दोस. उन सब चीज़ों को भूल जाओ. एंड नया मैंने जो थिंकिंग अभी डाला है, अभी बताया, उसको आप इंटरनलाइज मीन्स यू अंडरस्टैंड, राइट? हु विल टेल मी व्हाट इज इंटरनलाइज? व्हाट इज द हिंदी वर्ड फॉर इंटरनलाइजेशन? Nanda. Next question you see. So melting of the Arctic ice and glaciers of the Antarctic differently affect weather patterns and human activities on the earth. Explain. Again, effect of the man on the nature. The process of desertification does not have climate boundaries justify. Because most of the people think that desertification means simply एक्सपेंशन ऑफ द डेजर्ट. ये सिर्फ डेजर्ट में ही नहीं होता है. डेजर्टिफिकेशन का मतलब है, इसका डेफिनेशन है, इफ द लैंड और द सॉइल इज बियॉन्ड एनी यूज, उसमें एग्रीकल्चर फिर से अगर नहीं होगा, दैट सॉइल इज कॉल्ड एज डेजर्टिफाइड सॉइल. इसलिए डज नॉट हैव क्लाइमेट बाउंड्रीज. इसका मतलब ये है कि वो सिर्फ डेजर्ट एरिया में नहीं होता है, कहीं पे भी हो सकता है. जस्टिफाई विथ एग्जाम्पल्स. एंड आई एम वेरी सॉरी टू से दिस, बट अगेन मोस्ट ऑफ द टीचर्स डोंट इवन हैव दिस डेप्थ. सो मैं हर साल ज्योग्राफी ऑप्शनल भी पढ़ाता हूँ. सो इसीलिए फ्रॉम पास्ट 10 years आई बीन टीचिंग ऑप्शनल ऑल्सो. दैट्स वाई आई नो व्हाट इज व्हाट. सो मोस्ट ऑफ टीचर्स विच यू फाइंड ऑन द इंटरनेट, दे आर वेरी फेमस ऑन इंटरनेट, बट थोड़ा बहुत ही नॉलेज होती है. Next, how can the mountain ecosystem restored from the negative impact of developmental initiatives and tourism? See, सबको लगता है डेवलपमेंट इज पॉजिटिव, राइट? डेवलपमेंट पॉजिटिव सबको लगता है ना, बट एक जोग्राफर के माइंड में डेवलपमेंट इज मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम नेगेटिव. मीन्स जो लोगों के मन में जो डेवलपमेंट का मीनिंग है, डेफिनेशन है, तो जोग्राफर के मन में वो नेगेटिव है. डेवलपमेंट मतलब क्या आपके लिए? शीशों का महल होना. मतलब आप कोई भी सिटी जा रहे हो, फॉर एग्जाम्पल हैदराबाद का सदर्न पार्ट में जा रहे हो, आप एकदम ओके बड़े बड़े शीशे वाला बिल्डिंग देख गए एंड आप क्या बोलोगे, अरे वाह क्या डेवलपमेंट हो गया. लेकिन वो जोग्राफर के लिए डेवलपमेंट नहीं है. द जोग्राफर विल थिंक it is a glass and glass is being used in a tropical country, and when the sunlight will be falling on the glass, the sunlight will be reflected down. Instead of sunlight okay should be left into the space, it is being reflected on the ground. So near the glass building the temperature increases by 4 to 5 degrees centigrade, making the area hotter and hotter, and the glass will be trapping the infrared radiation, and glass के अंदर टेम्परेचर ज़्यादा बढ़ता है एंड उसके अंदर आप एसी चला के फिर ठंडा करने की कोशिश करते हो, एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दैट अगेन द टेम्परेचर विल राइज मोर बिकॉज ऑफ द एसी एयर कंडीशनिंग सिस्टम्स. जोग्राफर को आपकी जो डेवलपमेंट है जोग्राफर के लिए नेगेटिव है. ये वाला एग्जांपल छोड़ो, आप फॉर एग्जांपल गांव में किसी के पास गए, पहले उसके घर के आंगन में पहले मिट्टी हुआ करता था, लेकिन अभी उसने पूरा कंक्रीट परोस दिया. आप क्या बोलोगे? अरे भाई क्या डेवलप हो गया बोलोगे, राइट? फॉर एग्जाम्पल समवन इज स्टेइंग इन ए कच्चा हाउस, एक मड वाला एक ग्रास हाउस बनाया, अभी उसने वो डिस्ट्रॉय करके और एक बिल्डिंग बना लिया कंक्रीट वाला, सीमेंट कंक्रीट. आप क्या बोलोगे? क्या डेवलप हो गया? सो ये जोग्राफर डज नॉट सी इट एज ए डेवलपमेंट. It is associated with non-percolation of the water, associated with excessive amount of heat, associated with killing of biota, killing of the earthworms, killing of good bacteria which is present in the soil, associated with flooding. The geographer का lens अलग होता है. See, negative impact of development. UPSC खुद बोल रहा है भाई development is not positive. The kind of development which you are doing is not positive, it is negative. एंड बहुत सारे लोग सोचेंगे कि टूरिज्म की वजह से यू हैव टू डेवलप टूरिज्म एवरीवेयर, यू हैव टू बिल्ड 4 लेन हाईवेज टू द ऑल 4 धाम्स, एवरेस्ट के ऊपर भी 4 लेन हाईवे लेके जाओ, राइट? ये फॉर मोस्ट ऑफ देम इट्स पॉजिटिव, राइट? फॉर जोग्राफर इट इज नॉट. इफ यू वांट टू रेस्टोर, इफ यू वांट टू प्रोटेक्ट, सेव द माउंटेन इकोसिस्टम, यू हैव टू पुट अ स्टॉप फॉर दिस काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स. दिस इज द लैंग्वेज ऑफ जोग्राफी. एंड जो बहुत सारे लोग जोग्राफी की लैंग्वेज, यूपीएससी की लैंग्वेज नहीं समझते हैं, एंड इफ ए पर्सन इज सेइंग दैट इफ यू शुड नॉट बी बिल्डिंग 4 लेन हाईवेज ओके इन द माउंटेन इकोसिस्टम्स, ओके दे विल बी कॉलिंग अगर मैं बोलूँ क्लास में 4 लेन हाईवेज बिल्ड नहीं करना चाहिए, देन पीपल विल बी कॉलिंग मी एज एंटी नेशनल, नक्सल, पता नहीं क्या क्या बोलेंगे. लेकिन यूपीएससी का लैंग्वेज देखो आप. You see, and geography and environment, these two are only those subjects where your thinking pattern changes entirely. अगर इस 2 सब्जेक्ट्स में आपको ढंग का टीचर नहीं मिला ना, आप पूरा आंसर में गड़बड़ करोगे. अगर सही टोन सेट नहीं हुआ आंसर में, पूरा गड़बड़ हो जाएगा, पूरा रॉन्ग हो जाएगा. दैट इज व्हाई पीपल विल बी स्कोरिंग लेस मार्क्स. तो टू सेट द टोन टू द क्लास have taken this much time, because till now I guess most of the people had their tone wrong. Tell me honestly, अब तक आपने सोचा ना कि पहाड़ों में जाके डेवलपमेंट कर दो, टूरिज्म बढ़ाओ तो अच्छा होगा? This has been a thinking, right? Which is not. Next, resources of the world. Now look at the question. Distribution of resources. See again, गो बैक टू द सेम बेसिक्स. कहाँ से क्वेश्चंस आ रहे हैं? See, कहाँ पे? This only, resources. Here around like 30% of the questions are from here, 70% of the questions are from here, and sometimes they'll be combining this and this. जितने भी क्वेश्चन है इसी से आ रहे हैं. एंड आपका यहाँ पे टोन सेट होना इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. Geographical explanation of distribution of offshore oil reserves of the world and how they are different from onshore. Basically offshore और onshore oil reserves के बारे में पूछा है, because the oil is going to be very important, okay, which UPSC knows. UPSC, and one more thing, UPSC ना चीजें पहले predict करके रखता है. And the thing which is going to be in the news for the next 2-3 years ना आपको इस बार प्री में मिल जाएगा, मेंस में मिल जाएगा ना. अभी ऑयल की बात हम कर रहे हैं ना, अभी 26 में. यूपीएससी देखो क्वेश्चन 25 में पूछा है, बिकॉज द पीपल हु आर प्रिपेयरिंग द क्वेश्चन और रेनाउड प्रोफेसर्स है, मीन्स उनको आगे 10 साल में क्या होने वाला है अभी से पता होता है. इसलिए मोस्ट ऑफ द क्वेश्चन पेपर्स विच यू सी, especially in science and technology, there are things which we are using right now. टेक्नोलॉजी के बारे में अगर बात करें तो अभी जो बहुत ही व्हाट पब्लिक डोमेन में जो वर्ड्स है, यूपीएससी हैज आस्क्ड वे बैक इन 2018, 17, 16 तभी पूछा है. सो you should be very much aware of the things which are happening in a particular discipline, right? Let's discuss the multi-dimensional implications of uneven distribution of mineral oil in the world. See, almost similar. इधर भी डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन पूछा है, लेकिन एफेक्ट्स पूछा है अनइवन डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन होने से. अभी पता चल रहा है आपको, 26 में पता चल रहा है 50% ऑफ द ऑयल इज देयर इन द पर्शियन गल्फ, अनइवन डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन है, एंड 50% इंडिया इंपोर्ट्स फ्रॉम देयर ओनली. वो चोक हो गया, बंद हो गया, कितने सारे दिक्कतें आ रही है. एंड अगले वाले 2-3 महीने में देखो बहुत सारे मुश्किल आने वाला है. एंड अभी भी बड़े सिटी छोड़ के छोटे सिटीज में डीजल ढंग से नहीं मिल रहा है. गैस का तो प्रॉब्लम है ही है. ओके, यू हैव बीन राशन्ड, एंड कमर्शियल गैस इज वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू गेट, एंड इट विल लीड टू लॉट ऑफ फूड इन्फ्लेशन. सो इंडियन इकोनॉमी इज गोइंग टू बी इन टर्मोइल इन द नियर फ्यूचर. So, okay, I hope I am able to make you clear what this subject is all about. I am unable to discuss all the questions, but through few questions, I guess it is clear to you. सब लोग एक बार रिप्लाई कर दो. समझ में आया सब कुछ? Everything clear? Okay. Then from tomorrow again, tomorrow we'll be entering into hardcore geography. आज तो स्टोन सेट कर दिया. एग्जामिनेशन में पैटर्न कैसे होता है, क्वेश्चंस कैसे आएंगे, आपकी थिंकिंग कैसी होनी चाहिए. सो आई हैव ड्रॉन द आउटर लाइन, आई हैव ड्रॉन द बाउंड्रीज फॉर यू. एंड ऑल्सो वाइल मेकिंग द नोट्स, ओके, फ्रॉम टुमारो ऑनवर्ड्स, आजकल जो भी हुआ है कैसे भी लिखा लिख लिया. कल से जो भी मैंने फॉर्मेट बताया उसी फॉर्मेट में आपको लिखना है. एंड दिस विल बी एक्सट्रीमली बेनिफिशियल फॉर यू, नॉट ओनली इन दिस सब्जेक्ट बट ऑल्सो इन द अदर सब्जेक्ट्स. ओके, चलो देन, ओके, सी यू. ओके, आज को रिवाइज करने के लिए कुछ नहीं, लेकिन ये सारी चीजें जो भी मैंने बताया ना उसको इंटरनलाइज कर लो. सो वॉट एवर यू हैव लर्न्ड बिफोर दिस, अनलर्न ऑल दोस. उन सब चीजों को भूल जाओ. ओके, एंड नया मैंने जो थिंकिंग अभी डाला है, अभी बताया, उसको आप इंटरनलाइज मीन्स यू अंडरस्टैंड, राइट? हु विल टेल मी व्हाट इज इंटरनलाइज? व्हाट इज द हिंदी वर्ड फॉर इंटरनलाइजेशन? Nanda, consolidation, okay, kind of, okay. See you then, okay.